Good morning, everyone. I'm G. My presentation, I'm so excited to start off the morning with this because confidence in the job search is absolutely essential. Again, like I said, I've been in the job search, and I'll get into a little bit more of why I've made a little bit of a switch shortly, but you can see the title of the presentation there today. So again, this is just a quick snapshot of my background. I've got 20 years of HR experience, and I've worked for small and larger companies. Everything that looks great on paper, right? Okay, so this year I decided to start an LLC just to be able to do projects. But again, I'll get into more of that. So all of that is the stuff you see on paper, but here's a little bit about the behind the scenes. So this is the personal for me and why I'm here and how I know Brenda again. 2020 was a bit of a struggle, obviously, for us all, and we're still feeling the residual pain. I lost my job, as I'd mentioned, felt the isolation. I'd actually first met Brenda in Michigan, where I lived my entire life, relocated to Texas a few years ago. And so spending all of last year in isolation did not help. So I was never honestly down for too long. I had some physical issues at one point, but I've always kept, and please, I only wish I could share with you how exactly I did it on a day-to-day. I don't know. I never really got down for too long. I just wouldn't allow myself for it. And a lot of that lends itself to the positivity that I try to always have as much as possible and try to keep sharing with others as well. So I also struggled with video. We talk about video a lot. We talk about imposter syndrome a lot as job seekers. And one thing that you should know about me is I live and breathe on LinkedIn. So that's where you'll find me. I'm not active on a lot of the other social platforms. Clubhouse is now my new thing as well. But LinkedIn is really where it's at. And what I try to encourage people, especially if you're, sort of putting the feelers out for a job search, LinkedIn is not always about the job search. It's networking, it's connection and reconnection. And it is critical when you are down in the dumps to keep all of that activity going full force. And last year was a great example. I've been on LinkedIn for the past 13 years, never used it more in my entire life than I did last year. I'd gotten jobs, I had opportunities, but last year was really where it was at. But it really also about last year forced me to get creative. And like you'll see when I talk about personal branding, my Bitmoji comes to life. You see Bitmoji here. And it's sprinkled throughout my content, and also as mentioned, my new LLC. So before we start, I have a quote. And I came across this recently, and I fell in love with it right away. I do not know the originator. It's Christina Grimmie, not familiar. Confidence is not, will they like me? It's confidence is, I'll be fine if they don't. And that applies not just in the job search, but in all facets of our lives, right? So we're always seeking approval, but it's what happens when we don't get that job, or when we don't get that new relationship we think we want, or we don't get what we feel we need. It's how do we maintain that confidence throughout? And it's just something to keep in mind as you go forward. So today I'm going to talk about these 5 key points: strengths, personal brand, creativity, pastime, and empowerment. And please do not feel forced to take notes. I won't be sending out slides, but I can share content with you via notes, or if you want to reach out to me with any questions about some of this information after the fact. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is critical, is know your strengths. And you'll see on the screen, it's Bitmoji, as affectionately named my Bitmoji. It's Bitmoji. Get it? I go by G, so you kind of get the relation there. Clifton Strengths has been key for me over the years. I have a great example of it. I will not share, but very long story short, I was in a job for 2 years before I took Clifton Strengths, beating my head against a wall every day as a financial analyst with an amazing firm, PwC, so the #1 accounting firm in the world at the time. And I beat my head against a wall every day, and I couldn't figure out why was I unsuccessful. I knew why the performance reviews were terrible, because I was not effective, but I struggled, but I consistently tried for 2 years. The day I left that job, I literally learned about strengths, and that was 8 years ago, and I've never looked back. So I'm a big believer in it. It's talked about constantly. It's in post content, etc. I know Brenda's mentioned it. I know Brenda and I actually talked about this on one of her shows about 5 months ago. I was blessed to be a guest. Go to gallup.com and you'll find that information there. And the information's on this slide, but it's very nominal in fee for what you're going to get from it. This comes up a lot though in your interviews too. It's hugely helpful to have these in mind, your top 5 criteria. Based on 34, you only need to know your top 5. What are you greatest at? Where do you shine and excel? And truly, where's your passion? Where does that energy go every day? You really need to know yourself first before you can convey that messaging to any employer. So just something to keep in mind, okay? So now comes the topic. I love this topic of personal brand. So what I enjoy is this quote that really nails it. A lot of times we spend a lot of our time actually thinking, okay, overthinking actually. What does personal branding mean? It means a lot to a lot of different people. But it's summed up perfectly in this Jeff Bezos quote, which is your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I have a quick example of this. So recently I was having a bad day and I went out to get something from a store and I completely forgot why, why I was so upset about it. But I remember as I was leaving the store and disgruntled with not finding whatever it was I'd wanted, as I was leaving, I found a pillow, this pillow that you see on the screen that was Glow Getter in yellow gold, which is my signature color, yellow gold all the way. And I did a post about it, right? So that coupled with a few other things led me to do a post. And I was named in someone's post a few weeks later who referred to me among a bunch of other people as innovative. And I had no clue why this person referred to me as innovative. I've been called many things innovative. It was never one of them. And I reached out and she answered my question of why with this. And she said, she said, it's everything about you. She said, it's your content, it's your positivity, it's how you approach HR. You're not, cut of the same mold type of thing. And I just remember her being so encouraging of me that it inspired me to post this, because that is proof positive that when I don't see that for myself, other people may see something that I don't. So just something to think about. And to coincide with that too, one of those things where you can do a Wordle or a word dump. And lately I've even been asked by a couple of my friends how I feel about them. In similar exercise, they're trying to get an idea of, hey, what's good about me? What can I share in my about section or in my branding? And I assisted them with, sharing some words, but do that exercise. Ask your family and friends what they think of you. What give a word to describe yourself, if you will. And again, going back to signature colors, always gold, and the black, white, and gold are now part of my new company logo, which I formed, again, out of frustration from the demoralizing job search, gives me the energy. And my crazy long name, I go by G. I now have a Bitmo G that pops up from time to time in content that you'll see. Other words that people have used to describe me are, and you can see this too, I'm not even making this stuff up. If you were to go through my feed, these are some of the things that people have shared. Positive, creative, innovative, as I just shared with you. My Bitmo, and as you can probably already tell, I've always been a huge fan of quotes. I've actually been using them on LinkedIn for at least 10 years. I have content from 10 years ago, at least where I used quotes. So again, your personal branding, don't put it all out there, everything at once. There's a time and a place for everything. So there's a balance to it. And there's posts out there, people engaging in conversations about what to share, what not to share. But anything that gives you energy and that you can share tastefully, I'm a huge fan of. And I know others are as well. Personal brand posts get a huge amount of traction and visibility. So this is a quick example. So if anyone's familiar with Shelly Elsliger of the Kind Club, hashtag Decide to Be Kind, she featured me not too long ago in one of her articles, along with several other individuals. Change makers was the hashtag for that. And I actually did a post on that. And I got a little creative and I did a post relating to that. So on a personal note, though, you'll see at the bottom right, and I just got done sharing with Brenda and a few other people. While I didn't share this on LinkedIn, I did a quick Facebook post, which I'm not very active on Facebook, but bam, people, here you go. Just know that we're okay type thing. And that's my husband and I just having received vaccine number 2 through Pfizer. So thank you, Pfizer, and thank you, healthcare system, for being gracious to us during this trying time. And again, not blasting to the world, but it's there if people need to see it. So that's all part of who I am. And I love that expression, be bold or italic, never regular, right? So again, all this feeds into number 3, creativity. I live and breathe Canva. So this presentation is not a PowerPoint presentation. And I shared that with Brenda initially. You will not find me doing much of PowerPoint anymore. I love Canva. I engage in it regularly. So if you're not familiar, go to canva.com, explore it. Create a hashtag for yourself. Use it on Instagram, on LinkedIn, anywhere else you do content, on Facebook even. Mine is hashtag GJustSayin. So feel free to follow my hashtag too. I used to have a memorable business card. Please excuse the picture. That does not look like me anymore. I had very, very short hairdo, if you will. So I had a cute, catchy tagline. And again, my mantra, my professional experience about creating that in the workplace, sustainable, flexible, is at the bottom of my business card. Also, you want to work on your LinkedIn profile. That is free real estate, folks. You'll hear Brenda talk about it constantly. Brenda's very active on LinkedIn, and that's all, a large part of her brand. It's her social media pie book that she wrote recently. She's amazing at this stuff. So again, we're all here because of Brenda and that purpose. And again, going back to signature colors, always been a really big yellow gold fan, but I love the black, white, and gold, like that splash of gold. That's just my signature now. And again, as I was mentioning earlier, I went into the side hustle piece because I wanted a little bit of a fresh start, if you will. So a lot of times we have the conversations about how to bucket ourselves under the, in transition, unemployed. Those are 2 things that you do not want to put on your LinkedIn profile and on your resume. It has more of a defeatist attitude. Instead, how can you get creative? Even if you don't establish a formal LLC as I did, it's something to think about where you can say, okay, yeah, I'm good at these things. How can I leverage that creativity and purpose that intentionally? This is something that Brenda will appreciate as well, but this is consider a defining acronym. And I know Brenda has her rock star acronym. I know a very huge LinkedIn guru named Jeff Young has his Namaste. Network and make all sorts of terrific energy is his. I came up with this recently because I love gold and golden. And I thought, what can I do with this? So you'll see that right there. I've had other people, and I also did a post on this. And after doing said post, I had people reach out to me and comments and even offline to say, gee, what a great idea. You've inspired me. I want to do something with the word love or empower or reach. And that just resonated with me. So that post did wonders for some people who are out there. Okay. And again, these are just a couple more quick examples of content. The top piece that you will see on the screen is my banner, or was my banner at one point when I was in the job search. And I have done all kinds of things to kind of think outside of the box. But one of them was reinventing my banner a few times. And then, of course, another, an example of a post I did down at the bottom, courtesy of Canva, folks. All of this doable in Canva, even the free edition. So another one of my favorite quotes that I've been using for years, and it's on my vision board, it's everywhere, is why fit in when you were born to stand out? It's a Dr. Seuss quote. And I'm a big firm believer in this. And again, this is a clip from a piece of content I recently did to try to remind people, why do you want to be of the same mold when you don't necessarily have to? So again, number 4, you want to ensure that you're engaging in your hobbies and pastimes that mean something to you. Do new certifications and courses in Udemy. I think that's how you pronounce it. So if you go to udemy.com, as you can see on the screen, that's not just your professional certifications. There's all kinds of learning that you can do, and just to feel energized and keep those creative juices flowing. These are great talking points in interviews. Also, writing and journaling. I've discovered Penzu, penzu.com, if you will. Video is huge, and I could go on about video for days and days, but I thankfully overcame my video phobia. I went from, I don't even know what the degree would be in this moment, but I completely did a 180 from last year, I guess you could say. I was doing no video content to having created content over the past several months. And I just this weekend was granted LinkedIn Live access. I did a quick video of it and it reached over 10,000 views and hundreds of reactions and comments. So hugely energized and a huge departure. Let me see. So again, you want to feel empowered. That's the most important thing. You've got a lot to be grateful for. You've got a huge network. Always remember to network with people the right way. And again, another piece of content is please don't start off by saying, I just want to pick your brain. Engage intentionally with your network. We're here for support, and there's a lot of job seekers in a similar boat. Confidence is key. And I'm a big fan of the fake it till you make it. It really is critical because desperation is a bad look. Being somber in screening interviews, whether you're visual, or just over the phone, that comes across. When you're somber, demoralized, that's a turnoff right there for recruiters. I get that you're completely disengaged in some cases, not feeling it on certain days because it's frustrating, right? But you are ultimately in control. Not all recruiters will ghost you. You always want to put your best foot forward. And as I'm always telling candidates, even in mock interviews, because I do participate in those, recruiters are here to cheer you on. And you're going to hear from some shortly who are going to be your cheerleaders. They're here for you today. And we're here to cheer you on. We want you to be successful. Yes, the ghosting happens. It actually happened to me twice in the same day recently. Very frustrating, but I just picked myself up and dusted and moved on. So just remember, you're not your job, and they come and go, but you do not want to hold grudges. And again, I repeat, confidence is key. Practice your mock interviews. I have a resource. It's through the Dallas Pit Crew. There are many, many resources out there as well. Do volunteerism that you enjoy, never anything that you feel obligated to do, as much as you can repel that. And also know your boundaries, especially when it comes to LinkedIn invitations from recruiters who reach out to you. Maybe they haven't responded to you, but they want at you in LinkedIn. Don't feel compelled to respond right away. I did that with the person who blew me off last week. They never responded to an email, but instead tried to engage with me on LinkedIn. We had no common connections. I refused to connect. And I never even heard from the person, but they never told me about the job anyway. So also embrace content work. It's critical to do because these are things that will fill your time and your soul, in your resume. And also take advantage of resources that are out there. There's loads of them. Self-care always needs to come first. And I'm going to leave you with this. This is my quote: our flaws are someone's awes. So anytime you feel a lack of confidence or something, whether it's your appearance or the way you speak or something that maybe you're not entirely confident with, I guarantee you there is at least one person out there who will say to you, I envy this about you. I want to be you when I grow up. I wish I had that. And they're probably feeling like, well, why? I've had that happen too. So never remember that. And there's me with my old hairdo. So many thanks for your time today, folks. I cannot thank you enough. This is my contact information. Basically, you can contact me for LinkedIn connecting. I absolutely love LinkedIn. Like I said before, I love Canva content and available for that as well. Happy to engage there. But this is my contact information just right off the bat. So I think that's it. I'm on Clubhouse, like I said, as well. So don't forget the handle, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much for your time today, everyone.
All right, G, thank you. I want to pull Judy up just for a second, just so we can do a quick audio and video test with Judy, just to make sure. Hey, Judy, how you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I'm going to put you back in the green room just for a minute as we finish off with G. This is kind of running as a LinkedIn Live-a-thon all day. Well, not all day, till 1 o'clock today, I should say. Since G's my first guest, I'm solo producing, so I kind of like to make sure the other guest is ready to go. And we've got a couple minutes, so I want to encourage you guys. See, right now I have the ticker up on screen that says comment below if you have a question for G or anything to add to the conversation. And I see that there's been a lot of great feedback. G, and as you go through the playback, you'll be able to see some of the comments that are coming in there. So many people have really appreciated your presentation today. And I agree with Fran, so inspiring. I've loved watching your story, G, and it was just really great to hear. And for those that are joining a little bit late, we're doing a LinkedIn Live-a-thon for 3 hours today, and G was our first speaker, and she was kicking us off with her topic, which is having confidence in yourself while in transition and interviewing. And she's a great person to follow and demonstrates all of those things. So I know a couple of people were like, oh, so many great pieces of information. I wish I was taking notes. Well, hey guys, if you sign up, I'm going to put the webpage up on screen right now. If you sign up at this webpage, I will make sure that you get a copy of all of the playback links from each of the presenters for today, as well as, now, G, are you making your slides available to people? Would you be comfortable sharing those with me to share with folks, or?
You know what? I've got some notes I can send.
Okay. All right, perfect. So if you guys go to, I'm going to give you this webpage, mellermarketing.com, Lil April, LIL, which stands for LinkedIn Live April. If you go to that webpage, then you'll sign up. I'll make sure that you get the playback links. And what I'm going to do is take every speaker's link and we'll put it into a 30-minute segment so you can watch them individually. So if you want to fast forward just to see G's part or just to see Judy's playback, I'll have that in there along with any special offers. So G, thank you so much for joining. And before we wrap up, I want to pull your LinkedIn URL up on screen. I'm going to drop it into the live chat as well. Are you open to accepting invitations from people that are watching the session here today?
Absolutely. Just remind me in your invite, and Brenda knows this, please personalize your invite. And just remind me that we met here today. But I'm very, very open to connecting. And like I said, I have an Instagram, I never use it. I'm on Facebook, seldom on there though. LinkedIn is my home. So find me on LinkedIn, and I'm also in Clubhouse at GJustSayin. So again, goes back to that hashtag piece. Like I use that cross brands and cross platforms. So
yeah, awesome. And I'm navigating through a couple different windows. So give me just a second here, guys. I think I've got G's profile. I want to pull it up on screen just so you can see it. And this is the profile you want to send her an invitation to connect. So just mention in your invitation to connect that you saw her on the LinkedIn Live today. If there was something that was particularly compelling for you that you heard her say in the discussion, mention that in the invitation. It's a great technique of getting more of your invitations accepted. So if you're not getting a lot of your invitations accepted, make it personal. Personalize that note to that individual. Don't send just a blank invitation. Include some context in there that's going to help to get those invitations accepted by more and more people. So G, thank you so much. I know there might be a couple of additional comments or questions that are coming into chat. I would love it, G, if you could go onto the live stream now and see if there's any additional questions, and hopefully you're able to watch us for a little bit of the day today as well.
I definitely will. You know I will. Again, happy to support, provide info, all that great stuff afterwards. Thank you so much, Brenda. I'm so excited, and you guys are in for a treat. Today's lineup is stellar. Thanks, everyone.